What's up, and welcome into the Herb Howard Show. We are live from the big studios. My name is Herb Howard. Thank you all so very much for choosing to be here. Got a great show planned for you guys. Of course, we're going to wrap things up going around the league. We're going to spend a good sawbuck with my great friend. My brother is in the building, the one and only Laurence Holmes will be joining us live here in studio. But first things first, man. Let's get one thing straight. There are no such things as moral victories in the National Football League. I don't know where this comes from. I don't know what this conversation is. I've been hearing it all over the place. I've been hearing it from people who I respect on the radio. I've been hearing from people who I respect on the Bears beat. And I've certainly been hearing it from a ton of fans. I don't know what this is, this conversation that y'all are having. It was even brought up to the head coach, again, by someone I respect a ton. Shout out to my guy, Nick Moriano, in the coach's press conference yesterday. Where do y'all get this conversation from about moral victories? This is the National Football League. You win or you lose. The Bears have put themselves in a great position to control their destiny. What happens from here on out is completely up to them. Go win the whole damn thing. Why not? What are we waiting on? I told y'all last week, feel free to celebrate. Y'all talking about next year, we're a year early, we're ahead of schedule. What does that even mean? Same thing we thought in 2018. Oh, we'll be back. We're going to go on a 10-year run. Says who? I think Ben Johnson's the guy. I think Caleb's the guy. We're probably set up to do that. But says who? We talk about injuries. We talking about everything else that can go wrong over the course of a season in the National Football League. There's no such thing as waiting till next year, and there's definitely no such things as moral victories. Listen, the Bears beat the Packers in Lambeau the last time they went up there. The Bears should have beat the Packers last year at Soldier Field, but they had a field goal block at the end of the game as time expired. That team was way worse than this team. So how do we go up there and lose by 7 and we're like, oh, it's a moral victory? We went up there and won the last time we was there with a much worse team. Stop the conversations about moral victories. It's not a real thing. Good thing is Coach Johnson knows it's not a real thing. He won't hear anything about any moral victories. He also is understanding that the Bears are going to have to play a full 4-quarter, 60-minute football game if they're going to beat these teams down the stretch that have good records, that have playoff aspirations of their own. I asked him yesterday in his press conference about the Bears' inability to start fast in the games. He was like, we have to be able to start fast if we're going to beat these good teams on the road. It's going to take 60 minutes. Shout out to Coach Johnson, too, because he keeps it a buck. I also asked him what, if any, adjustments he made offensively going into the second half where the Bears were able to get some traction as opposed to not being able to do anything in the first half. He said, you talking about me? What adjustments did I make? I said, yes, sir. I'm talking about you. What adjustments did you make? He said, none. Absolutely none. I coached the game exactly how we laid out the game plan. He said the only thing that changed was the execution. He's not one to throw his guys under the bus, but he is absolutely one to be very honest and transparent about his assessment of their play. He's also not somebody who's going to duck any accountability. He's oftentimes put it on himself. So I got to make better play calls, got to make better decisions. But when he's right, he's right. The Bears have to find a way to execute better in the first half of these games going forward. Coming up, the one and only Laurence Holmes will give me a sawbuck. Try to get him to hang out with me a little bit longer. This is the Herb Howard Show. Thanks for being here.
Look, welcome to Plants on the Gridiron. It's Chicago's first and only plant-based tailgate.
Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Bigger world, baby.
And here's what we love. It is Chicago's most unique event. We combine health, we combine sports, love of football, and you gotta bear down. Chicago Bears, baby.
So it's so awesome to see the community coming together and just enjoying some really good plant-based food. There's people here that are meat eaters, there's people here that are fully plant-based, and we can come together as a community and just really have an impactful event.
Because we are Chicago homegrown. Come late, the food gonna be gone. I swear to God, they ain't coming late.
I am the Sumo from Morgan Park, and I'm rocking with the Bigs.
Yeah, this is Jason Kidd, and we're rocking with the Bigs.
I'm Chris Bryant from the Chicago Cubs, and I'm rocking with the Bigs.
What's up, y'all? This is Kyrie Irving. You're tuned into the Bigs.
What's happening is Dame Lillard, a.k.a. Dame Dollar, and I'm rocking with the Bigs.
What's up? This is D Rose, and I'm rocking with the Bigs.
This is Mark Cuban, Dallas Mavericks. You're rocking with the Bigs.
Welcome back inside the big studios. This is the Herb Howard Show. I want to thank each and every one of you for choosing to be here on this bright, early, relatively warm morning in the city of Chicago. Good morning to y'all. Good morning to my beautiful mother. Thank you for waking up and tuning in to the show. Crystal, good morning. Appreciate y'all for checking in. I truly, truly do. My man Dante, what's good, man? Me and Dante been rocking on Twitter for a long time now, man. We see things the same way. And when everybody's jumping on me, Dante jump in and get the swinging on folks on Twitter. I appreciate y'all for checking in. Listen, huge show today. Usually we do Give Me a Sawbuck with my brother Gene, who y'all clearly like a lot more than me, but it's cool. Today we got a special guest in the studio, and before I actually introduce him into the show, I want to give y'all an anecdote that I gave him the first time I actually appeared on your show. And it was a surreal moment to me the first time I was invited to be on Laurence Holmes' show, because in 2019, the Bears had this big season kickoff party event thing. It was jumping off from McCormick Place all the way down to Lake Street. And the radio station 670 Score was broadcasting live in the lobby of the Prudential Building. Is that right? Yeah, in the lobby of the Prudential Building. And me just being a huge Bears fan that I am, I went to the broadcast. I just went and sat there. I watched like 3 or 4 shows, like all the hours, just sat there and watched the shows as they kind of tick through, at least leading up to kickoff. And when Laurence Holmes' show came on, he was hanging around the lobby, or just before it came on, he was hanging around the lobby, and I just went up to him and I said, "Hey, how you doing, Laurence? I'm a huge fan of your work, have been for a long time. Like, my name is Herb Howard, and I'm going to work my way onto your show." And, you know, he could have been very condescending. He could have given me one of those faces like, "Yeah, whatever, weirdo, beat it." He looked at me very genuinely, gave me a firm handshake, looked me right in the eye and said, "Man, I'll see you when you get there. I can't wait." And that was before I even knew Gino and Terrence. The Bigs knew nothing about me at the time, and the Bigs discovered me a year after that in 2020. And then in 2021 is when I was on the beat, and sometime thereafter, my work was appreciated enough to be invited to the show of the great Laurence Holmes. And I remember that moment very vividly, and I remember doing the piece and getting through the piece, and I was like, I gotta tell you this. I gotta give you this little anecdote, man. So it's an absolute honor and a pleasure to have you now here on the Herb Howard Show. It was an absolute pleasure for me to be on your show.
Oh, dude, I rock with the Bigs. Like, those are my dudes from way back. Sure. So seeing that you guys have collabed is like this beautiful thing that happens. And, you know, part of my job now, like the way that I look at it is, part of my job is to help the next group of people that are going to come through, because people did that for me. Scoop Jackson did that for me.
Shout out to Scoop Jackson. You next, sir. I'll be on your phone today.
You know, AKA Yoda. Yoda did that for me. Even like Jim Rose, like guys like that, they made room. Dan Jiggets, they made room to help me get to where I'm at. So I feel like there's a responsibility, there's a pay it forward aspect of it. So when I see you doing well, when I see, you know, Russ Dorsey,
shout out to Russ,
out here doing well, it makes me feel great. Like even my dudes at the bigs, like those are my contemporaries. But the way that Gene and Terrence have completely changed the way that locker room interactions go between media and sports figures, it's respect. So I'm happy to be here.
Well, we are certainly happy that you are here. They don't do it any better than you do it, sir. Let's hop into this Give Me a Sawbuck segment. I got some Bears topics for you, and I need to know what you are thinking on a couple of things. One, as you observe and analyze and discuss on a daily basis with all the experts and the fans alike, Caleb Williams' trajectory and his progression, what do you think is next in his development?
I feel like he has to become more accurate. I think that we know that he's got something that most quarterbacks don't. The ability to slow your heartbeat down in the last few minutes. Like this, the end of this game, regardless. We have seen him multiple times rally the Bears back in fourth quarter situations. He's got the it thing. Like that, what you want to see now him build upon is the consistency part of it. So for me, if he can be more accurate, now you are talking about one of the better quarterbacks. And I'm glad that they've developed this run game, because when you start to look at when Ben Johnson got hired, I spent a lot of time watching film on Detroit and specifically their run game. Because I think that people walked into Ben getting the job being like, oh, it's bombs away. They're going to be throwing the ball.
Air raid.
Yeah. You know, they think it's, air raid system, and it's not. Like, it's old school pro style play action football. 100%. And seeing it now play out the way that they had envisioned is great. And now, like, so people would get mad at me, Herb, when I would say, I want to see Caleb play more like Jared Goff. And they get mad, well, he's better. I'm like, well, first of all, hold on.
Pipe down. Who said he's better?
Jared Goff is also a one of one, right? Like he's also the first pick in the draft. All I want to see, I think that Caleb has more athleticism and maybe more arm talent. If he can just be a little bit more consistent, all that other stuff is going to flourish.
Yeah, he's certainly equipped with more tools than Jared Goff, but that alone doesn't make you better than Jared Goff.
A lot of toolsy guys out here that are on their 6'17".
Come on now.
You know?
Come on now.
Like, there's a lot of guys that have tools. It's just, can you put it together so that you are in command of everything that goes on? And for the most part, I think that he's moving in that direction. And it might not be as fast as people want or need, because, you know, Bears fans are hungry. Like they want it bad.
They want it right now. But listen, you're talking about second-year quarterback. You're talking about he's on his third head coach, his fourth coordinator. Like, it's just a lot that he's had to deal with. And the expectation of him coming out and having it all together this season is probably a little bit ambitious, to say the least. And so I think he's on schedule. I think the trajectory still looks very, very positive for what he can do. And we always see the glimpses of the special. And we saw it again at Lambeau on the rollout and the throw to OZ in the end zone. That's insane. I don't know how you get that ball in there, but we've seen him do those types of things. I'm with you. The next step is just being able to hit the layups. And that's about your accuracy. That's about your mechanics, just hitting those layups. And if he can hit them specifically earlier in the game, then it won't come down to how special he can be in the last 2 minutes, because I do agree with you on his ability to just lower his heart rate. He's ice cold. I value that in an athlete as much as I value that in a person. When everything is up here and is haywire, can you remain calm, think through it, and execute whatever the task is at hand? And so he has those things. He starts to hit the layups. That's when he adds the Jared Goff to his special, and then he's way better than Jared Goff. Quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, everyone wants him to be that right now. And I get it. When you start looking around and you're like, well, Drake May is an MVP candidate.
Sure.
And Bo Nix has got a team that's won 10 games
straight
in a row, right? Like, and Jaden Daniels went to the NFC Championship game. Like all of that stuff, I understand it, and because everyone is kind of instant gratification, and I understand why. It's sports, right? But sometimes the developmental track of a player doesn't just go sequentially.
No.
Sometimes there's going to be like a big leap that's going to happen, and I think that we've seen the big leap. The way that and I remember talking with you at the beginning of training camp, the way that they overloaded Caleb.
Yep.
Early on, and Declan Doyle was talking about it. I think that it was really important to his growth. I feel like he needed that so that he could really take a step forward. And yeah, there were the moments where he was swimming.
Sure.
But now he is beyond that. And I think it was a really right way to go. I've honestly been thinking about it in my other role as a teacher.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about how can I push my students the same way that Ben Johnson pushed Caleb Williams.
Couldn't agree with you more. They threw him in the deep end and found out the kid can swim, and he's treading his water just fine, and hopefully he'll turn into Michael Phelps here shortly. While we're talking about his development, I think one key thing that could help him out a ton is this highly paid, versatile wide receiver, number 2, DJ Moore. They have not been able to get on the same page. What do you think is the disconnect between Caleb Williams and DJ Moore?
I've been trying to figure out, is this an issue of working through your progressions? And if DJ is number 1 in the progressions, it seems like in different times of the season, Caleb is fixated on Rome and on OZ. Now, Luther Burden has started to get more playing time, deservedly.
And rightfully so, yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Like he's moved into the mix too. It does feel like DJ Moore has been left behind. This is why I hated the idea of, well, you don't have to worry about the running back position because you could just put DJ Moore back there.
That was strange.
Yeah, I don't like that. Like the guy is clearly a receiver, and we know that he's been one of the best receivers in the league with trash quarterbacks.
No doubt.
His whole career, he has put up numbers. So I go back to that trip to London that you guys took. And DJ being like, yeah, we got to kind of see things the Caleb way. I think that DJ is so advanced that he might have some issues with some of the rudimentary stuff. Like when it comes to the choice routes, for example, I think he sees things differently than what Caleb does, and trying to get them to the place of him understanding, well, look, I didn't want you to throw me into that linebacker, so I sat in the empty space in the zone. And Caleb's like, no, I was going to get you the ball in a space where you were going to be able to put a move on that linebacker.
Right.
And that, I think the disconnect is there. And I hope it gets fixed. I think DJ's a really dynamic player that hasn't been unleashed in Ben's system yet, and I can't wait for it to happen.
I couldn't agree more about who DJ is as a player. I think he's a phenomenal player. He's an ultimate competitor. He's uber tough, right? We've seen him take a huge hit after huge hit, come right back in the game, come right back the next week. I think they have to find a way to get on the same page. I also think that DJ is phenomenal at reading coverages and making those adjustments you were talking about. We've seen him convert shallow routes into deep routes and convert those for touchdowns. We've seen it happen before. We talk about all the quarterbacks that he had going through Carolina. He comes in here, he's got Justin, and we know what a lot of you all think out there about Justin. So if you think that, we still have DJ Moore having a huge season with Justin. We saw them go out to Washington, and DJ hung 8 for 230 and 3 on them people. Like, he has that kind of ability. Him and Caleb just haven't been able to sync up yet. Against the Green Bay Packers this past week, he had 1 catch for -4 yards. He was targeted 3 times in a game in which Rome Odunze did not play.
Yeah.
So if Rome Odunze is one, you talk about OZ, you talk about Luther Burden, his ascension, you talk about Colston Leveland, how he's gotten involved. Cole Kmet is starting to get involved. How does DJ Moore become option 5 or 6 in anybody's offense.
It's a strange thing to see.
Yeah.
And I know that they're trying to get him the ball, and they're using the run game as a way to do that. That smoke route thing, the screen that they set up is like, ooh, like I felt bad
trying
for
to
him.
get him killed.
Yeah, because it didn't seem to go right, and he looked exasperated at the end of the game. And I get it, but I also don't think that Caleb could have gotten him the ball on that last play. I think the mistake in that play is not throwing the ball to Cole earlier. Not
He had him for the touchdown.
Yeah, he had him.
He had him for the touchdown.
He goes to the pylon and throws that ball close to the sideline. Cole can make a play on it.
Nah, that play has been talked about a lot, and it's been scrutinized and what can't happen and what can't happen. And Coach Johnson, to his credit, he calls a play that I don't disagree with. A lot of people like, you ran it on third, run it again, the offensive line's playing well, you got them tired, you run the ball. And I don't disagree with that either. But Coach decided to give him a play where there are 4 options, where you got Dre in the flat, you got DJ coming across in the intermediate range.
You can run it.
And then you got Cole deep, and you can run the ball. So you got 4 options there. And all of them are cool. They took Dre away immediately in the flat.
And they took the run away too. Like they sold out.
Yeah.
Like they sold out and like we're not gonna fall for the banana and tailpipe again. And that's why Cole was open. This is the same play that worked last week against the Eagles.
Yeah.
And it worked against Green Bay.
And you got to give Nixon credit for recognizing that he's breaking open back there, because it wasn't his man at all. He's on DJ, which is how DJ pops open late. And you watch it on tape, he's like, DJ's right there. And sure, having played the position, that's just a little late. And once my eyes go here, and it's 4th down. So it's not like the urgency is high.
We've seen Caleb do incredible stuff for him, but I went back and watched it. And for him to have made that throw, he would have had to like completely turn, dropped his arm angle, and then threaded it between. He's capable of it, but he was already down the field.
He saw Cole late. His eyes got big. He's like, there's the game right there, because I don't have any doubt about going for 2-point conversion. He's going for 2, no doubt about what Coach Johnson is going to do in that situation. He didn't get the ball where he wanted to get it. The kid made a great play. Ball game. Bears don't get the job done. They fall from 1st in the conference all the way down to 7th in the conference. They are now 2nd in the division. Let me ask you, will the Bears finish out this season strong and make a playoff run? And do you think that this Cleveland game has the potential to be a trap?
Let me start with that part of it first.
Sure.
I do think that it has the potential to be a trap. And the reasons are the reasons why the Green Bay game.
Sandwiched around that Green Bay game.
Yeah, you got 2 Green Bay games, and you've dealt with the 2 top pass rushers in the game. And I was watching clips of Myles Garrett last week.
Jeez.
There are 2 things that stand out. One of them, Charles Tillman sent me a video of Myles Garrett going up against Tennessee last year. And Tennessee tried, can I curse here or no?
Yeah, you're good.
Tennessee tried this bullshit of they were just moving both of their tight ends wherever it was that Myles Garrett was lining up. So Myles Garrett, through the entire pre-snap, is like, I'll just keep moving because one of you has to stop.
Right. And get set.
And he forced them to take a timeout.
Wow.
That's the type of player that you're talking about. The other thing that I saw with him is him Euro step.
Oh my God.
That was a double team. How?
Well, that was insane.
How? Like it doesn't make sense.
He took his first step, which is as good as anybody in the league. He takes his first step up the field, He takes his first step up the field, and off of his right foot, hops a gap and a half over to his left and gets. That was I've never seen anybody do that.
Yeah.
You talk about all the moves. You talk about Reggie White's club move. You talk about what's my guy from the Colts? Dwight Freeney's spin move.
Yeah.
It's tons of, but that I've never seen anybody do that.
And then just kind of get small,
and
make it through the double team and then get to the quarterback. Like he doesn't make sense. So the Bears are going to have to deal with him. I thought that they did a decent enough job against Micah Parsons. Parsons did have 8 pressures in the game. He was in the backfield, but he couldn't get Caleb down, which is amazing that Caleb's still doing that. I don't know if that's sustainable, but so far it has been with him.
Yeah.
He's been able to get away. Like I think that with Caleb, the other thing that maybe some physically that people don't realize about him, he's 230 pounds.
Yeah, he's solid.
You know, like he's not tall.
He's not tall, but he is solid.
You know, but so that the Myles Garrett thing scares me. I don't like the way that Kevin Stefanski has handled the Shedeur Sanders thing.
No, it's been bad.
At all.
It's been bad.
It's the passive aggressiveness of it has been untoward. And I'm not even a big Shedeur guy, but clearly he's got something that the rest of your quarterbacks don't, and that should be poured into.
Yeah.
And last week he exploded for a great game. I'm wondering if he can follow that up. And considering the injuries in the Bears secondary, I think that there's a chance that this could be a trap game if they don't take it seriously.
No, I think so too. And I think the same thing about the defense. And you talk about Myles Garrett, and he's just one of those guys, just like Micah Parsons, who every offensive coordinator spends the entire week saying, we cannot let this guy wreck our game plan. And then he goes out there and wrecks your game plan. I know Micah Parsons wasn't able to get the sack. And shout out to all the Houdini acts from Caleb. I thought his best Houdini act came on that pressure from, I think it was Nixon early in the game. And he just came right up, I think, the B gap. And it was right in his face, and there wasn't even much space. And then Caleb just shoots out of there and runs for a first down. I don't even know how he did that. But I think that going into this game, the Bears have to lie to themselves. And I mean, I know they got the Packers game in the back of their mind, just like the whole entire city still has the Packers game in the back of their mind.
Treat the Browns like they're the Packers.
But you have to just lie to yourself like, this is the thing. And don't say anything about the Packers. Don't think about it, because that game is going to come. But it ain't going to mean too much of shit if the Cleveland Browns come into Soldier Field and whoop you, and then the Packers take care of their business this week, or the Lions take care of their business this week, or the Seahawks and Rams, and on and on and on. You got the Panthers who won't go away. They're looking for one of those wild card spots. So
the 49ers, who you have to take on in a couple of weeks.
This thing is still kind of going on. So the Bears take care of their business. They can still win their division. They can still win the top seed in the conference, but they got to take care of their business. And right now, that's about the Cleveland Browns.
It's part of the reason that I, like you, haven't really enjoyed the moral victory argument.
Yeah, I don't like it.
And the reason I'm looking at it more of like placement. And you saw what happened with one loss.
Yeah.
You went all the way down to 7. Beating Green Bay is great, and it makes everyone feel good, and it should make everyone feel good. But I look at it and go, hey, man, you've now made other games more important.
Yep.
You've made this game important, right? The Detroit game, like I watched Detroit on Thursday night. They're not ready to give this away.
No,
yet.
They're not going to quit.
They're not ready to do that yet. And you've now put that game back. Like, had you won this game, you could take a deep breath a little bit. But now that game matters. And you don't want it to necessarily matter.
Not that much, right?
Right. There's a lot riding on it.
Listen, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll go around the league. Some of these games, some of these other teams we just mentioned. What do the outcomes that they had this week mean for the Chicago Bears? What do they mean for the NFL as a whole in terms of the playoff picture going forward? This is the Herb Howard Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back inside the big studios. This is the Herb Howard Show. Thank y'all so much for choosing to be a part of it. T, any comments that you want to get to that jumped out at you before we go around the league? Let's see what is going on. The Bears, Lions, Packers, and Niners all have to win out. Otherwise, they miss the playoffs. Considering they play each other, these are playoff caliber games here on out. I don't know that I agree with you that they have to win out. First of all respect to the Lions, like we were talking about, they aren't going to lay down, but there is a possibility that they aren't in the conversation by week 18. That's a possibility. I don't think it's likely, but it is a possibility. You talk about the Bears, they need to beat the Packers, right? They do need to beat the Packers, and they certainly need to take care of business at home against the Browns here. They go out to San Francisco. Both of those guys will be in the conversation. You talk about it. So I get what you're saying. I don't think they have to win out to make the playoffs. They came into these last stretch of 5 games with a 9-3 record, and 3-2 coming out of that would seem to be sufficient for me. They've already lost one of those games. If they win 3 of the last 4, I still think they'll be okay at 12-5. That's just me. But I feel your point on that. Let's hop around the league and go to some of the games that I had my eye on this past weekend. Let's start out in Detroit, where the Lions roared over the Cowboys. Final score 30 for the Cowboys, 44 for the Lions. Laurence, I was hoping that the Cowboys would stay hot, go out there, take care of business, and help us out. It didn't happen.
Yeah, the defense of the Cowboys let you down yet again. Shout out to Matt Eberflus. But Detroit, their ability to knock grit, right? That's their saying is grit. That those dudes, they did not give up, even with Amon-Ra being hobbled a little bit. Jahmyr Gibbs is on a Hall of Fame trajectory.
No doubt. He's a problem.
47, I believe is 40. He's played 47 games and he scored 45 touchdowns.
That's insane.
It really doesn't make any sense.
That's insane. You talk about getting to that touchdown range where you up there with the Jerry Rices of the world, like Randy, like that's insane.
When you're averaging a touchdown a game,
seriously,
like that's real deal stuff.
Listen, protect him at all costs. Keep that man healthy, because nothing short of injury will derail him from being that type of dynamic player for years to come. Out in LA at SoFi, the Chargers beat the Eagles. Monday Night Football, 22-19 was the final score. What is happening in Philly?
That was the dumbest game I've ever seen.
Have you ever seen 3 turnovers on one play?
I
don't recall seeing 3 turnovers. I'm seeing 2 turnovers on one play where offense turns it over, defense fumbles it back. They had 3. He throws the pick. The dude who picks it off gets fumbled. He loses the ball. Jalen Hurts gets the ball, recovers it, fumbles, loses the ball again. I ain't seen nothing like that.
You know they had the animated version of the game too?
Yes, I didn't see that.
It tweaked it. Like, it messed it up. They didn't know what to do on that play.
Oh, really?
So the players were just walking around.
A glitch in the game?
They completely glitched out, and it was hilarious. That game made no sense.
None.
And I know the San Francisco, the Chargers won. I didn't like that Herbert was out there. I felt horrible for him. You could see him protect his hand on every tackle.
Yeah.
They had him reverse handing off. Like, it was bizarre to see it, but they got the win. The thing in Philly is, I don't know why they can't get on track, but something's keeping them from getting on track, and they got to figure out what that is.
It's strange. You look at the talent on that roster, the coaching, they've obviously had good coaching. I know a lot of people don't like Sirianni for whatever reason, and that's fine. Since he's been there, you talk about the 4 years that he's had, I don't know what else you want from you. They've been to 2 Super Bowls. They've been to all the playoffs. Like, I don't know what you want. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the issue is with him. I feel the same way about Jalen Hurts. But he turned the ball over 5 times yesterday. 4 picks and a fumble lost. Like, and to their credit, they turned it over 5 times and they lost by 3 points. in overtime as they were driving in for the game-winning score. Like, so clearly they're still good enough to even overcome that type of messy, sloppy game. But I just don't know what the deal is with them.
Well, they have to get Jalen Carter back. Like, to hear that he had some sort of procedures on both
Shout
shoulders.
out to the Bears. They beat the hell out that boy. They beat him to the operating room.
Turned him sideways.
Okay.
Him and Jordan Davis. Like,
Yeah.
that run game of the Bears was
700 pounds worth of dude in the middle of the. They like, nah, we this way. We putting 250 on the ground.
Yep.
Shout out to the Bears for doing that. The Steelers and the Ravens, that is my second favorite rivalry in the National Football League, if you are going to call the Bears-Packers thing a rivalry. Steelers went to Baltimore, got a big dub, Gino, big dubs, 27-22. Steelers walk out of Baltimore with a dub.
How about the fact that Aaron Rodgers came out after being embarrassed last week and immediately 9 route, let's go.
Let's go for it.
Let's go push the ball down the field. And whatever it is, like we always do this over the last 5-6 years, we go, man, that Steelers team doesn't look good. And at the end of it, they're in the playoffs where they won 9 games. And you're like, how? Like it doesn't make a lot of sense. But Mike Tomlin and his program, and
it's been 20 years.
Yeah.
When are you just gonna accept the fact that dude is gonna have those guys around?
You had people last week pushing him to Penn State.
Insane.
Yeah. And there he is yet again with an opportunity to win a division, goes to the playoffs. Lamar is having a rough time, and he's probably my favorite player in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Watching some of the stuff, like the touchdown that was called back, drove me crazy.
Yeah.
And it drove me crazy because of the Aaron Rodgers play earlier where he gets the ball batted back to him. And I'm like, well, hold on here. Like, what's
Both
a catch
of these, right?
and what's not a catch?
Yeah.
Right? So, but shout out to Mike Tomlin for continuing to be excellent.
Tell you what I thought was I won't say most impressive, but just it's Mike Tomlin and nobody else does this. DK Metcalf, their highly paid wide receiver, their best option on offense is running down, covering punts as a gunner. I said they got DK Metcalf running down in the cover. Now, physically, he's probably the best suited to be a gunner in the National Football League. You look at his size, his speed combination, you can double him if you want. He's going to get through that, break through that, and beat them down the field.
Imagine being a fourth corner who's out there, and
Right.
you line up, and you're like, oh, it's DJ Metcalf. This is not going to be fun for me.
I can't cover him. I'm not good enough to be out there to cover him on offense. He's not even trying to catch the ball. He's just only trying to run straight through me.
Yep.
Straight down. I can't do anything with this. I saw that. I was like, wow, that is impressive. Most coaches will not put their best players out there on special teams at risk like that, not to be a gunner. Impressive. The Texans went out to Arrowhead. Is the reign over?
It sure feels like it. That defense in Houston is
that's legit.
Outstanding.
They number one for a reason.
Like they get after the quarterback for sure, but I don't think Mahomes is over.
No, I still think he's got maybe half a career left. But
right,
I think this reign that they have been on is over, and they'll have to start another one.
It's hard to imagine this team rallying and winning their final 4 games and getting themselves into the playoffs, because I think that's what they need to do.
Yeah.
To do it. Travis Kelce and I know that they've been slow playing for the last 2 years, where it's like, we'll turn it on once we get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't think they can afford to do that, because now you look up and the AFC has gotten better. There's challengers all over the place now.
The AFC South got 3 teams trying to get in. Like the AFC South is usually like, okay, one of y'all, but no more than that. Now you got 3 teams trying to get in. It's a problem. You got the North, you got the West. Like
you got Bo Nix, and you got Justin Herbert.
And that's in your division.
Yep.
Right.
And they're tired of waiting.
Yeah. No, I think the Chiefs' kingdom and their reign is over.
I wonder if this is like an inflection point where Andy Reid's like, I think it's time.
It might be time.
And then Matt Nagy ends up being the head coach, or whatever their succession plan is. But I wonder if it's Kelce and Reid, they walk out together, and then it's like, all right, Patrick, What do you want? What do you need? Let's get this thing moving in the right direction.
I blame Taylor Swift. It's been downhill since then.
Oh, he definitely going viral now.
Last game that I had my eye on this past weekend was the AFC South matchup. The Colts were headed down to Jacksonville to see what could be. The Colts started out this season as the surprise of the league. They were number one across the league. You had Daniel Jones, who most people thought was a bust and had busted out certainly in the Giants. He gets to Indiana. They start calling him Indiana Jones. He's playing so well. They got running back Jonathan Taylor playing at an MVP level from the running back position. And you're like, wow, look at this Colts thing. It is real. They take a little bit of a step back, but they were still jumbled up with that tough division in the AFC South. They go down to Jacksonville. Indiana Jones goes down with an Achilles. I always have the greatest empathy for everybody who's ever ruptured their Achilles because I've ruptured mine. And I hate to see anybody do that. But also, it's not looking good for the Colts. 19-36 was the final in Jacksonville.
Well, here's how bad things are. Things are so bad that they tried out Phillip Rivers yesterday.
They did. Phillip Rivers hasn't played since 2021.
And I thought
44 years old.
I was getting
punked.
I was like, let me check every.
I saw it too. And I looked at the top. I said, this must be one of those like funny Twitter accounts, whatever. I'm like, no, for real?
No.
Listen, they brought in Daniel Jones. They drafted Anthony Richardson in the first round a couple of years ago. That hasn't worked out. He's on IR. They aren't talking about bringing him back. They bring in the rookie Riley Leonard from Notre Dame.
Who Phillip Rivers has a son who's as old as Riley Leonard.
Phillip Rivers is a grandfather.
He's a grandfather.
Like literally a grandfather. I don't think anybody's ever been a grandfather and quarterback the National Football League team.
I mean, we'd have to look up like Steve DeBerg.
Yeah, maybe.
But you're right. Like that's pretty crazy to be like, oh yeah, I got a kid that's your age. I got a kid. You're in the quarterback room with Riley Leonard. I have a kid your age. I always wonder with Phillip Rivers because he has like 100 kids. I always wondered how they got to the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for real.
And I was like, is it 2 Sprinter vans?
On the bus themselves.
Right. Or is it because you're thinking that there's probably at least 1 nanny and probably 2.
Yeah, for sure.
With the kids. So we're talking about 12, 13 people that have to get to the game.
How we get them dressed for the game? It's a lot.
And remember when he was still living in San Diego when they were playing. He would helicopter to games and to practice.
Nah,
must be nice.
It's wild. I don't know if I want to see Phillip Rivers come back. They'll decide and do whatever they're gonna do. But either way, I think it's over for them. I think the AFC is too tight as a conference, and I think their division is too tight. I don't see how they can win without having Indiana Jones healthy and effective. We gotta go. Laurence, this has been amazing, sir.
Oh, thanks, man. I feel like I ate up too much time.
No, we invited you here so that you can take up as much time as you wanted and say whatever you want to say, man. Thank you so much for coming. Absolute honor and a pleasure.
Yo, man.
I know you gotta get to the radio. Make sure y'all are tuned in every single day to 670 The Score. It is from 2 till 6 p.m. Spiegel and Holmes show. Where do you like to watch it at? On Twitch, YouTube? What do you like people to consume the show?
Wherever you want to consume the show. So if you're on Twitch, great. But I know that people complain about the ads on Twitch. So if you want to watch the show on YouTube, that's great too. If you want to listen in your car or in your office, you want to use the Odyssey app or 104.3 HD2, wherever you consume it, we are happy. So
also make sure you get in tune, if you are not, with the House of L. That is where Laurence Holmes gets to be unleashed on the people. He's giving it to you like he feels it. Make sure you're following House of L on YouTube. You can catch his reactions after the game and everything else that he puts out throughout the course of the week. That is Laurence Holmes. Thank all of you all for tuning in. Huge shout out to the team doing all of the work behind the camera. Shout out to PI. Shout out to the boss man who hasn't been yelling lately. I don't know. Things must be going good. Shout out to John because he has not been yelling at us lately. Terrence Tomlin, Eugene McIntosh, the real star of the show, humble enough to sit this one out. Shout out to all of the team, man. Most importantly, shout out to y'all for tuning in. We will catch y'all for a Friday episode of the Herb Howard Show. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share the conversation with at least one football fan. See y'all on Friday. Until then, y'all be good to each other. Peace.